We return our focus to the Middle East, where the U.S. and Iran continue to trade tit-for-tat strikes. Despite the escalation, though, President Trump says Iran called yesterday and wants to talk. CBS News White House reporter Olivia Rinaldi joins us from our D.C. bureau to discuss this. Good morning, Olivia. So, is any kind of deal still on the table, or could we see hostilities escalate further?
Well, Errol, that seems to be the question. Just in the last 24 hours, the president had declared the ceasefire dead. He said the MOU is no longer in place, but then said on his way home from the NATO summit that Iran actually called him and said that they wanted to make a deal. Now, the Iranians, of course, have maintained that they have control of the Strait of Hormuz, and any ships that are trying to pass through there must get their approval. That is what the U.S. is taking issue with. And then, of course, we have seen these escalation of strikes. Yesterday, we heard from Vice President Vance, who's been deeply involved in these negotiations, saying that really it's coming down to the strait and control of that. Take a listen to what he said here.
They said they would stop shooting at ships. And what happened 24 hours ago? They started shooting at ships again. Now, they were good. They were well behaved for about a week, but then they started shooting at ships. So the deal is very simple. If they shoot at ships, we're going to knock the hell out of them. And it's that simple. And that's the basic way it's going to work.
Now, we don't know when those U.S. negotiators, which include Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and even the vice president, would potentially go back to having those negotiations with the Iranians. If you'll remember, the latest round of talks weren't even with the Iranians themselves. It was with Qatari officials, and the Iranians were talking with Pakistani officials. So they went from direct talks to indirect talks, now to strikes. The president last night was also asked, is the war fully back on? And he said back, I don't know. He also said that if the U.S. were to go back to war, they would win it very quickly.
And Olivia, a couple of days ago, we watched live as President Trump arrived at the NATO summit in Turkey in the new Qatari-gifted Air Force One. It's got a big red stripe wrapped around it, but he left on an old aircraft. Why was that?
Well, it was something we certainly noticed as well. The president was flying on that old Air Force One, that iconic Kennedy blue, robin's egg blue that you see on the old Air Force One. We have asked the White House why this happened. The president posted on True Social saying that they did it because there were troops based in the United Kingdom where Air Force One was planning to refuel who wanted to see that new Air Force One, the Qatari jet that cost American taxpayers about $400 million. President Trump says that they wanted to see it. That's why they sent that plane there early and that there was very little deviation. But there are multiple reports this morning from various outlets saying that actually it was at the request of the Secret Service, given the fact that the U.S. was restarting those strikes in Iran while the president was flying out of Turkey, which is a neighbor of Iran, that they wanted him on the traditional Air Force One that has some specific, defense specifications on it that perhaps may not be on the new Air Force One. So because of that, several reports say that Secret Service actually had requested the president be on the old one while he flew out. We did just get a statement from the White House and Stephen Chung, who is the communications director, saying that the new Air Force One is a state-of-the-art aircraft, has been fitted with the highest level of security protocols that ensure the safety of the president and his staff. As the president said recently, there are many enemies of America who have their sights on him, and we use every tool at our disposal, including distraction and misdirection, to address those threats. Errol?